Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome, astrology friends and family. Welcome to August. Eclipse activity starts now, and also we are in the thick of Mercury retrograde shenanigans as my neighbor's mowing his lawn. Maybe I can edit this out later. Anyway, we're just going to go with it. Yeah, so we're dealing with a lot of planets in retrograde. The outer planets are in retrograde. We have Saturn, Pluto, Uranus will start to retrograde in September. Mercury will be retrograding August 4th, and we won't clear shadow period until somewhere near the mid of September. Also, we'll be getting into the Chiron retrograde soon as well, too. Okay, so let's try and have fun while we can. Leo season, the next few weeks are the time to really keep enjoying, especially with everything slowing down. Vacation when and where we can, time spent with children, having fun, theater, outdoor theater, concerts, putting yourself out there, leadership in the community. Don't be afraid to take those chances, put yourself out there. Put your work out there, your creativity. Now's the time with all this goodness in Leo. Love Leo season. I'm an Aquarius rising, so naturally I'm always, loving all things Leo. They're my other end of the spectrum there. Okay, let's get into the eclipses because you will start to be feeling some of this eclipse activity. Now the eclipse will happen in September. But as you may already be aware, the feelings and rumblings of eclipse activity can start happening about a month before, and then it usually kicks off a new 6-month cycle until you have the eclipse in the opposite sign. What we're going to be experiencing is kind of the fading out of the Aries Libra eclipses. The last Libra eclipse will be in September, and the last Aries eclipse will be next March 2025. So we still have, several months to work on those themes of that axis of things haven't been accomplished yet in those areas. We also have Chiron still in Aries as well. Okay, so on September 17th, 2024, we're going to have a full moon partial lunar eclipse in Pisces at, let me check, 25 degrees. And this will be affecting those born with Pisces or Virgo placements anywhere from 21 to 29 degrees and 0 to 1 degrees of the cardinal signs, which are Cancer, Capricorn, mom and dad, Aries the warrior, and Libra the lover. All right, the eclipse will start to highlight all the things that are Pisces, Virgo, prior to the nodes shifting into those signs by next spring. We will have the nodes of fate and one last set of eclipses wrapping up, like I mentioned, on the Aries, Libra axis for the next 6 months. Okay, so knowing that, this activity can be felt now, I just kind of wanted to talk about that, especially with everything, so many planets being retrograde. Yeah, okay, so in the Pisces area of our charts is where we are going to see some of this activity. After having so much Aries self-directed energy over the past year, pushing us to take initiative and propelling us forward in that Aries part of our sky, and also healing a wound since Chiron has been there. We could have started to be aware of that and started working on that in the past year or so. And like I said, if you haven't done so yet or initiated something of great importance to you yet, don't worry. There are still several months left of this Aries Libra story, especially with Chiron and then also, the nodes of fate and the eclipses happening there as well. So what does this mean? So we will now be taking in and further integrating, the healing process, especially with Pisces and Neptune coming into the picture, forcing us to kind of slow down and integrate those changes that have been coming in internally or externally, slowly or rapidly over the past year. Rahu, the North Node, can speed things up. If you started your own business, for example, that would be like a very self-initiated Aries type of thing. Now and in the next year and a half, you could be developing like a sacred space in your home or devoting a special space to work in that, you can paint and decorate, plants, Doesn't have to be just for business either. It could be a sacred space you use just as your own, like getaway, quiet time to meditate, rest, writing, creativity, listen to music, to I don't care if you just go there to daydream. It will be a really great thing to do. All right. And now, although with Saturn here in Pisces until 2026, he's structuring those dreams to help you make them come true. So, any kind of like blockages you feel that you may come up against with Saturn there in Pisces, it's only to slow you down to make sure that the things that you're putting into place are solid and stable and can withstand the test of time. That's what Saturn likes anyway. The other end of this axis is Virgo, and Virgo will help you. Virgo will help you organize yourself to make those Pisces creative dreams come true. You can pull your projects out of the ethers and put them onto paper, to film, to clay, to actual music, to whatever it is that is your creative inspiration or muse. Lunar eclipses also can be a very emotional time. They can trigger relationship endings or breakthroughs, and even good breakthroughs can be emotional. I feel at this time and over the next year and a half, we can really find our way through that Aries wound that we've had, or maybe we didn't even realize that we had it. For example, like maybe Chiron in Aries has been transiting through your second house of self-worth and your face and your earnings, your bank account, what you put into your mouth, and maybe you realize you didn't know that you had a bad habit relating to food, and it's kind of come up to be looked at over the past year or so. Maybe you have an allergy that you found out you had and you didn't know it based on what you were eating, and now you have this time to kind of start integrating those changes. Pisces is very healing, heal your body or whatever might have ailed you. So we could really maybe start to make progress in standing up for ourselves as well. Aries is a warrior. Is not afraid of standing up for himself, herself. We can also have been learning how to not be codependent, and maybe we're starting to make our own money instead of depending on another. Maybe we're healing long-standing relationship issues or issues about self-worth, your body, your identity. These types of healing changes can be very emotional and even in a good way. And if you haven't, like I mentioned, seen these changes yet, not to worry. We still have several months left with the nodes of fate, Chiron, and the eclipses here to help you quickly make changes for the better in the Aries Libra part of your sky. Kind of grand finale next March 2025. This Pisces eclipse is the first in the cycle, and it's possibly just highlighting or giving that first little nudge of awareness or discontent around emotions, spirituality, relationships, as full moons and lunar eclipses can relate to relationships, your home, your family, motherhood, mothering, as the moon rules Cancer. And anytime you have lunar eclipses, you always kind of look to the Cancer part of your sky and see how that area is being triggered at that time as well. Crisis can happen as we are made aware of imbalances in these areas as well. Some relationships can end for new ones to begin if there's been trouble in those areas. And on the other side, if there have been problems that are being brought to light at the time of this full moon, there may be a path forward to find some healing, and maybe you can grow and progress together if that is something that you're in a relationship and you would want to work on. There can also be fulfillment of creative projects or drama at the time of the full moon, especially with it being the first in this new eclipse cycle. You can also get sudden dreams, downloads, or inspirations about creative projects, music, acting, film, etc. How to help maybe marginalized people's issues with the ocean, or maybe you want to start a nonprofit or become part of a nonprofit that helps ocean animals or comes up with fishing net solutions or oil spills. And really interesting note on that, just to kind of show you how the stuff is already starting to come into play, is I went to go get my hair trimmed the other day, and what I found out was kind of cool is that they charge an extra $2, a $2 fee when you're getting your hair, cut colored, whatever. And what they do is they use the clippings from the salon to make these hair mats that then are used to soak up oil spills in the ocean. And they're really effective at it as well. They just kind of, and there's a video you can watch online where you can see that, there's the oil spill, which is horrible. And they put these like hair mats in and it just kind of sucks it up. So already we're going to start seeing these types of things come to the forefront, which I'm really excited about because who doesn't love the ocean, right? Know that if you do come up with or receive, inspiration downloads, that you should act on them not at the time of the full moon, but act on them as in like writing them down. Keep a pen or your tablet or whatever it is you use to write on at the ready starting now. Know that these will be divinely guided, divine downloads. I don't think there'll be anything coincidental about this. Also, with this being the Pisces Virgo axis, and Virgo rules health and organization and service, work, pets, we could have health challenges that might come up to the surface at this time to be healed, or we could have endings to jobs that no longer serve our well-being, with new paths being illuminated to more fulfilling work, or spiritual paths might come through. Maybe you find a need in your community and you decide, you know what, I'm done with administrative work and I want to create my own or nonprofit or become a founder of my own nonprofit and helping children in my community who suffer from, not having enough to eat or clothing or school supplies. And you can start a small movement there, and that would be a really beautiful thing to do. So just an idea. Okay. Also, what are some other things that can happen? This is also the other end, because we're talking about the 6th house and the 12th house axis. 6th house also represents small pets, and that's in the Virgo house. A pet can have issues or pass at this time if they've been struggling with health issues, but also a new one can come in. New fated pet, and fears and addictions can come up at this time as well. 12th house does represent addictions, and we can find ways to heal our mind, especially with Virgo at the opposite end. We can look for and find a great and destined healer at this time. The Virgo axis can also help you get organized and clean up that area of your life if you are suffering from addictions or bad health habits, and get yourself pulled together, especially if you were in your head too much, or also if you've been unable to pull your dreams, out of the ethers or from your Neptune haze, those ideas and dreams can get lost up there. And Virgo is really good at solidifying things and making it happen. Excuse me. Let's see. Sometimes Virgo does strive for perfection and it can hamper our creativity. So we'll be working on trying to strike that balance, right, of the creativity and the day-to-day work, and trying to balance the two. At this time, you can, and especially now, right in August, we can start meditating. Anything with like water therapy would be good. Prayer, if you pray, and it doesn't have to be religion, it could be whatever God you pray to. Epsom salts, you could clean up your auric field leading up to this full moon. I always suggest safest bet is nature, rest, sleep. I always try to aim for like 7 or 8 hours, and it's almost always a win, especially preparing for those jitters that you can start to get during eclipse activation periods. Having magnesium to root yourself down a little bit and to kind of root down and anchor your nervous system. Magnesium-rich foods like black beans and sweet potato and stuff like that. But always check with your doctor or your dietitian if you have any kind of health issues or if you're unsure if you can eat those types of things. You can also make, little simple changes to your diet, like more water, fresh fruits, chemical-free food, vegetables. Try to do like a no alcohol. I know that might be hard for some, in these last beautiful weeks of summer that we'll be having. It's hard at barbecue or hanging out at the beach with friends, but maybe you can make a mocktail, something like that. Start working on a creative project. That's another great way to use this energy. Jot down those major insights that can happen now. And this is also a really kind of interesting period where loved ones who have crossed over may start to appear or send messages to you in odd ways as the veil begins to thin. These are just some of the ideas that I'm giving you, and I will describe what the beginning of this new cycle means for each of you in all of the 12 signs, and I will also probably talk more in depth about it the closer we get to the eclipse and, as we proceed with this, the shifts of the nodes and everything else. So, yeah, all right, well, let's get started. Hello, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. The eclipse cycle will kick off in your 4th house of home and family, motherhood, deep family conditioning, and our roots in Pisces at 25 degrees on September 17th. And the other end of this axis is in your Virgo 10th house of career, reputation, government positions, leadership, father figures, and what you want to leave as your legacy. Lunar eclipses bring things to a culmination and a wrapping up. Solar bring new things in. And oftentimes lunar eclipses are very emotional, for better or for worse. You could be moving over the next 1.5 to 2 years as the nodes of fate will follow this eclipse axis in the springtime. It can be an emotional goodbye to an old home or changes in the family or maybe with a father figure. As a family member leaves, say heading off to college or a new member enters, secrets or patterns in the family can come up to be healed and to head into a new way of being, changing the past family conditioning. You could be trying to strike a balance between your roots and foundation and being out in the world. You may start to work from home, work in a family business, or even start one. If you're focused on career, home may be pulling you back and highlighting the need to focus there. In order to step fully into the career and wider world stage, you may need to spend the next 1 to 2 years getting your home, your roots, your base, your security organized. Especially if you are moving, you certainly could be doing that. Or you may just need to declutter and renovate your existing home to include a home office. Your work could become more spiritual in nature, or you could be working with film in some way as well, as Neptune rules film. And this could be things like Instagram, very visual art like Instagram, or using YouTube or videos like that. On August 4th, Mercury retrogrades in Virgo again. The 10th house is being highlighted until August 27th, adding energy and rumblings to this eclipse story that will start to kick off in September. The new moon in Leo at 12 degrees will happen in your 9th house where the sun is, and this new moon trines over to your Aries 5th house of love and romance, children, speculative gains and sports, and is currently housing your North Node and Chiron, and Chiron is the wound that can't be healed, and with the nodes of fate being here, this is a fated time to be healing that wound in the 5th house. Also, Mars and Jupiter and Gemini are in your house of other, the 7th house, sextiling this new moon, and the North Node and Chiron in the 5th as well. This could look like new beginnings in your 9th house of luck and higher mind, foreigners, travel, higher education, self-limiting beliefs, expansion, publishing. You could have a fated new love come in through that 5th house and enter your life over the next 6 months. Or you could be taking things to the next level. The house of romance is 5th, getting more serious as a 7th house of partnership. And the 9th house could be like, we're getting married, let's sign that legal contract. Or you could travel and for fun or creativity or with your family and partner. In doing so, it expands your mind and just has you feeling, in a really good place, changing beliefs or belief systems. You could also marry while traveling, like a beach wedding. Leo is solar, so it would probably be somewhere sunny or exclusive. This love or partner could not only be fated, but also be very healing for you as well. A creative project can take off, or it will take off within the next 6 months by the time that the Leo full moon comes in. I think that would be January, wrapping up by then. Like, for example, maybe you're getting the new idea to write a book and you do so, and wow, it's published in 6 months, Or you start a creative business. Maybe you're helping older children with finances and their higher education goals. This could be luck in starting a new chapter in a spiritual belief or journey that expands your mind and lights you up and changes limiting beliefs about yourself and what you're capable of. Alternatively, it could be a partner who is experiencing these things at this time, as your 7th house of other is lit up with Jupiter there.
On August 5th, Venus enters Virgo until August 29th and conjuncts retrograde Mercury at 3 degrees in your 10th house of career and high visibility on August 7th. And this also rules your reputation, government, father figures, important male in like leadership positions, or male-like figures in leadership positions. This affects you if you have Virgo or Pisces placements from 0 to 8 degrees, or rising Sag 0 to 8 degrees. You could be in high visibility, looking good in the public, traveling for career over this time. Lucrative opportunities can show up as well. Just wait for Mercury's shadow to pass in September before signing contracts. But if it's something that you had been working on already, it might be okay. Could be love shows up at work or from the past with Mercury retrograde, and this beneficial aspect can be felt from August 5th to August 10th, exact on August 7th. On August 19th, Aquarius full moon at 27 degrees falls in your third house of the mind, your local day-to-day movement, local community, neighborhood. The third house represents social media, marketing, small business, vehicles, siblings, cousins, book writing, things like that. There can be a culmination here around short coursework. It falls here too, or certification programs. And at this time, this full moon sextiles you in a good flow to later degree Sag from 22 degrees and up. There are some difficult aspects to this full moon, but it's mostly positive for you. I feel like it could look like confusion or cloudiness around the things that you're trying to complete in those third house areas. Or maybe you're having a breakthrough and a project reaches completion at this time, but you find out that there's like a hurdle or unclear information or another step that you have to take, or missing information about what's culminating here. That could be happening as well. On August 22nd, the Sun enters Virgo, joining Venus here, and with a few more days to go. And Mercury again will pass through this 10th house. There's so much energy this month between your 9th house of higher mind, luck, and expansion, and the 10th house of visibility, leadership, and career, that I really think you could be traveling or in the spotlight at this time. You could be traveling for business and pleasure, or both, or just taking things you've learned from the 9th house of higher learning to help change what you want to do for work, to change your reputation. Uranus had made a hard aspect earlier to Mercury up in the 10th house, so it could be changes that are needed are revealed at this time, or steps you need to take to do better or look better in the 10th house of high visibility. Maybe you need to tighten up your work output, become more organized, organize yourself better on details, somehow related to how you communicate and take care of and represent yourself out in the world. With Venus here too, even though she's entering the late degree, she does smooth things out a bit and glows you up in that high visibility house. On August 27th, we finish off the month with a beautiful trine. Uranus and Taurus trines Venus and Virgo, exact at 27 degrees, affecting you if you have placements in these signs from 22 degrees and up. It could be a shocking sudden love comes in via work, or while you are working. You could be outdoors, exercising, camping. Because it's an earth trine, that's why I mentioned like the outdoors, hiking group, and you meet love suddenly. Money can be highlighted, and recognition can come through suddenly through work you already did or that you were in progress of doing. A prominent male figure can introduce you to financial opportunities or love somehow. You can also love a new diet and exercise routine that's glowing you up and ties up to the 10th house. Simply by, making you look better and feel better, we attract good things to us, like love, opportunities, money, and therefore it could be a sudden opportunity. You can also make a sudden break from an old job. Sixth house represents like day-to-day work, kind of that skullduggery stuff we have to do to take care of our bills and our daily health. And this could be a sudden change or insight to do something that would be more lucrative, something that you would be more excited to do, and that can change your role or title or reputation in a positive way. You can also suddenly kick a very bad habit that maybe you had in the sixth house. Maybe it was vaping or too much alcohol this summer, or too much gluten in your diet, and ultimately will start to have you feeling better and looking better as well. And at this time, you can do these things with ease. Take care, Sagittarius, and we'll see you in September.